So Vladimir Tarasenko has officially requested a trade out of St. Louis. Wow. There was a little bit of rumors before this exactly happened. We're saying like, okay, so the Blues are looking at it. They're gonna look at it. They're gonna see what they can get. Maybe they will. Maybe they won't. It doesn't really matter. It honestly doesn't matter. But now it does matter. Vladimir Tarasenko has officially requested a trade per Jeremy Rutherford, a reporter of the St. Louis Blues. Pretty reliable, by the way. I recommend go checking out his sources. Um, he said that the Devils, or Tarasenko is not. I looked at my Devils jersey in the background, and I just thought of it. He said that Tarasenko is not satisfied with the way the St. Louis Blues handled his shoulder surgeries, and we've known this. He has not played consistently since 2018-2019 season when this Blues team made it to the Stanley Cup. He was out for the majority of 2019-2020, and he was out for the majority of 2020-2021 season. He will be able to start next season, but will he be with a new team? Potentially. So we're going to look at some destinations, look into his statistics, his cap hit, everything that is in play here. First off, if you're new to the channel and you haven't already subscribed, please make sure to do that as we're trying to get to 900 subscribers by the beginning of next season. Yup, that's my goal now. So I'd really appreciate it if you would subscribe. And without further ado, let's get into the trade destinations video. So before we can look at potential places that he can go with St. Louis, we have to look at his cap hit, his previous season, and some notes that I have here. So this season with the St. Louis Blues, of course, it was shortened because of his shoulder surgeries and all that good stuff. He played 24 games, had 4 goals, 10 assists for 14 points. Now, that's not Tarasenko. That really isn't Tarasenko. He's usually getting more goals than assists. And we've seen that before. He's scored 30 goals, I think, 3 times. He's had a 40-goal season once. He's literally on the cover of the first ever NHL video game I've ever played, which is right there, NHL 17. And yeah, he has multiple surgeries on his shoulder. And I mean, that is going to cause some problems. So you look at these 24 games, and honestly, I take them with a grain of salt. I still think that when healthy, he's a top 15 goal scorer in the NHL. Yeah, I really think he is. Maybe not top 10. Definitely top 15, top 20, maybe top 25 at the lowest. But I think he can be a great power goal scorer, and he can be a player that, if he gets surrounded by the right amount of people and the right crew, I think he could work something out. So his cap hit is $7.5 million, until 2023. And here's the big problem with trading him. He has no trade clause. So any ways that they try and trade him currently right now, it's going to be pretty hard to find a deal where $7.5 million for until next season in the flat cap era as well, mind you. That is going to be a problem when you factor that into a trade. Now he still is worth a lot, and I feel like if you're the St. Louis Blues, I'd say your offense is pretty good, although you are losing a guy like Tarasenko. Your defense, I'd say it's all right. Maybe you want to get another blue liner to that roster. Your goaltending, it's okay. I mean, Bennington's all right. Bennington's good enough to be a starter temporarily, but I'd say everything's good. I think what the St. Louis would want in an ideal trade is draft picks, prospects, and maybe defensemen. I think that's really the only thing I could see there, because when they got handled pretty well by Colorado, defense was the biggest problem. Not goal scoring. They were scoring plenty of goals. Defense was the big problem for this team. So I think with Vince Dunn on his way out, and there's other questions regarding that blue line in St. Louis, you got to think they're going to go out for defensemen. So from what I've heard, his 4 teams, or maybe even more than 4 teams, I've heard so many fits that could be good for him. The Boston Bruins, the New York Islanders, the Carolina Hurricanes, and question mark. So as you can see on the thumbnail, because I make my thumbnails before the videos, I'll put the thumbnail on screen right now. I put Carolina and New York as two teams on the East, and then I put put Vegas and Los Angeles on the other side as for the West. Now I've heard before we get into those four teams, I have heard rumors of New York Rangers are potentially linked to them. I think I heard some stuff about Chicago. Maybe I've heard Philadelphia was a fit. But from what I've heard, the three teams that are most definitely on his list are Boston, New York, and Carolina. So you have stuff to work with there. So we'll get into Boston first, and then we'll get into the other four teams. Boston, I guess I can see it working. I think if you can put him on like a line with Taylor Hall, I think that could be great. Now the question is, who do you deal away? You know what? A potential person you could deal off to them is a young defender like Brandon Carlo or Matt Grzelcyk. You know, guys like that who are really the glue to that Boston blue line. You know, you move them over to St. Louis with former teammate Torrey Krug, and you could see some interesting chemistry there with those guys. So you could see something on the move with that. So that's interesting to look at. Goaltending, I don't think they want to trade out a goaltender because if they traded Rask, he would retire. But I'm just thinking of options right now. Jake DeBrusk, I don't think that would work. Richie, there's options that the Boston Bruins can go with. But I think that what they want to do is they absolutely want to get blue liners. So I think Carlo and Grzelcyk could be on the move if you're a part of the Bruins. Now let's get into the four teams who are, like my personal top front runners for this guy. The New York Islanders. The Islanders, this is just me thinking they're interested in a lot of guys. They're a buyer right now. And we discussed on the Nordic and Mark podcast about how, the Islanders don't have much cap space, and it could cause issues in the future with guys they got to sign like Adam Pelech, Anthony Beauvillier, Ilya Sorokin. They got a lot of guys they got to sign with the Islanders. So, although they are kind of buying in on Tarasenko, I think it's probably the least likely out of all of these, in all honesty. Unless if you can make a deal where, you trade Beauvillier for Tarasenko, which I don't think that would work. Or trade someone with a high cap hit for another high cap hit coming in. Honestly, it just doesn't make sense, and I don't think the Islanders would really want to go for that. I just think Tarasenko has that as one of his teams. Carolina Hurricanes, that could be interesting. What I think with the Hurricanes is that, it's possible the Hurricanes have enough depth. I'm just thinking of guys they could trade away. Maybe, who's the guy on the blue line? They have Hamilton, Slavin. Well, they have good defensive and some good forward prospects, like that Drury guy who recently got signed to an ELC. They also have Seth Jarvis. They have a couple of the guys that could be interesting with what they go for. It's just really confusing because honestly, I can't think of anybody right now that I could see going back the other way. Maybe a goaltender. Maybe picks. That could be a possibility, but I'm not sure what Carolina would do there. They will probably trade out a forward. Maybe, I don't know, Nino Niederreiter, Warren Fogle, who's another top guy? I've heard Vincent Trocheck could be interesting, although I'm not really too sure if they would make a deal with that, although Tarasenko, when he's good, like I said, he can be a 30-goal scorer. I'm just not sure if, that would really work out. The next team I have is the Vegas Golden Knights. Vegas, I don't really know who they would deal back the other way. Maybe Alec Martinez, give his rights over to St. Louis, and then boom, you can conduct a trade that way. I'm not too sure how they would go with that. But what I think is that, they have options. They have guys down there, they have Haig. I think they have McNabb. They can have option. And then I've also heard that Cody Glass, I've heard some reports that Cody Glass and the Vegas Golden Knights relationship isn't as concrete as it's been in past seasons. So, and like I said, and like we said before the season started, I said that Cody Glass, I made that mistake so many times. Cody Glass has, he's gained pounds. In season previous, he got the puck knocked off him easily, and he didn't do well this season with the Vegas team. So maybe he's in play if they want to go for Tarasenko, but the problem is Vegas doesn't have enough cap space, so they're going to have to deal someone out the other way if they're going to want to have Tarasenko be that, that glue and, be that player. And the final team I have is the Los Angeles Kings. So the Kings, I have them in here because they're kind of going out for everyone. I don't really know what they would deal back the other way, but they're kind of out for everyone. I've seen them out for Eichel. I've seen them out for Reinhart, Ristolainen. I've seen them out for Duncan Keith. I've seen them out for Seth Jones. There's so many guys that are getting moved this offseason. And, I've seen LA in pretty much all of them. All of them. So, the fact that, they could be interested in Tarasenko wouldn't surprise me, although I can't really think of anything off the top of my head that they would deal back the other way. Maybe a prospect like Alex Turcotte, maybe they want to get pieces to win now, or they deal their first overall pick, or their first round pick, not first overall, that's Buffalo. Deal their first round pick, which is what is it, 9th overall? It's around there, or 8th overall, I think it is. So they're gonna have options, but I'm not sure. And any teams that are regarding Canada, I don't think he wants to go to Canada. I don't think he does. I think he wants to stay in the States, a big market in the States, mind you. So that could be why, Boston, New York, I'm not sure about Carolina, Los Angeles is interested, Vegas is interested potentially. But yeah, and I think if he doesn't get traded, you could see him in Russia. That's my takeaway from it. So let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Thank y'all for watching, for your support as of late. And yeah, that's my trade destination video on Alex Tarasenko. Vladimir Tarasenko. I thought of Alex Turcotte. I don't know why. Yeah, thank y'all for watching, for your support. This is my 616th upload. I don't know why I remember that, but anyways, thank y'all for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.